You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Ink Dependence. I'm Mike, and this is the Montblanc 146. This is a vintage 146. It's from the 70s, and it was loaned to me for review by a good friend who said, hey, you keep saying you haven't tried Montblancs. Try out this Montblanc. You might like it. You know what? She was right. So I've had this pen for an embarrassingly long time, and I need to get it back to its rightful owner. But today we're going to take a look at the features and design of this pen. We'll take a look at it next to a whole bunch of other pens, and then we'll do a bit of a writing sample with it. So Montblanc is a pen brand that I have very limited experience with because they're kind of a prestige brand. They tend to be quite expensive. And, I've just been like, who cares? But this actually is a really great pen, and I can see why people like Montblancs based on this pen. So let's start at the top, which, of course, has the Montblanc Mountaintop or Snowflake or whatever you want to call it there. I believe they look at it as a mountaintop, but everybody calls it a snowflake. And I think it's one of the premier symbols of a pen. Like, you see that sticking out of somebody's pocket, you're like, yeah, that person's kind of classy. Moving down, you have some nice gold trim. Here we have the more or less unadorned clip, aside from this little ridge right here. Moving around, you can see this clip is all one piece. It's not like folded over metal or whatever. This is a very nice clip. It seems to work pretty well, although I haven't really been taking this out of the house because who leaves the house? Moving down the barrel a bit more, down the cap a bit more, you see there are 3 bands, 2 skinny and 1 kind of thick, which says Montblanc Meisterstuck and then 146 here. Around the band. And I think that's actually pretty minimal adornment. Really, the thing that tells you about it being a Montblanc is this super successful and noticeable snowflake up at the top. Moving down the barrel, you have a slight swell in the middle of the barrel, and then 1 ring here, and then the blind cap for the piston filler, because this is a piston filler. You twist this, it moves a piston to fill the pen with ink. Let's take the cap off. You'll see in the cap, if you look down at the bottom there, you can see a screw that will, I assume, allow you to disassemble the top and take off the clip and stuff. I have clearly not done that. No inner cap on this, but it does seal up nice and tightly, and I haven't had any problem with this pen drying out at all. All right, so let's look at the nib more closely. It is a 14 karat nib, and they are not marked, I found out. I actually didn't know that Montblanc didn't mark their pen nibs, and I'm like, come on, man, like, mark your pen nibs, eh? But its real owner tells me that this is a stub. I've heard other people say that the broads are kind of stubby, but I think back in the 70s they actually made an official stub, and that this is one of those. That is my guess. You can see there it says 4810. There across the cap, you have the Montblanc logo, and then you have the 14K underneath that. Then you have this nice ink window, sort of in this little band. Sometimes you see these as slots. Sometimes it's just a straight up window, as this one is. Let me get the ink out of there. There we go. Now we can see it. I have a nice brown ink in there, and so it was kind of, you couldn't really see through the window. But this actually holds a good amount of ink. I've refilled it at least twice since I've had it, because I really do enjoy writing with this. Then you have some cap bands, and I can't take this apart any further because you need special tools, and really just don't take apart your Montblanc unless you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, let's do a little writing sample right quick. Here are all my details. I'll have those at the end of the video that you can definitely check out. Let's look at the back here. All right. This is the Montblanc. .146 with a stub nib. And it does have a little bit of like you can feel sort of the edge. Like, this is a fairly sharp stub as far as that goes. And so you definitely can hear it writing sometimes, especially if you rotate just a little bit like I do. Feeling a little bit of a scratch perhaps, but it's not unpleasant at all, and I like writing with it. And then you can see here you have some thicks and thins. You get nice thin lines going sideways, thick lines going up and down, as you expect from a stub. And I tell you what, the flow on this pen is it's kind of perfect. This ink is Sailor Texas from their 50 states collection. And fast or slow, however you write with this thing, it is really nice. The section is just the right size for me, I think. I've had no issues writing with it whatsoever. And the section diameter between 10.8 and 11.4 is just kind of right in my comfort zone. You can see some other figures here real quick that we'll post up at the end. So if I go quickly, then that's okay. Capped 5.6 inches, and the pocket depth is about 5 inches. It's a little bit hard to say, but that's about half an inch of cap there. And then posted 6.25. This pen does post, but I don't really like it posted. I think it's a little bit back heavy if you do. Now, if you write further up with the pen, so if you grip it up on this part of the pen instead of further down the section like I tend to, then you could write with it posted if you wanted to, but I really don't. So there you go. That's the dimensions and the writing sample and all that. When it comes to cost, I kind of left this blank because market values are all over the place for these, and I couldn't find any current 146 prices like on their website or anything like that. But I've heard that these will go for anywhere between, I don't know, 300 and something up to, I don't know, 6 or higher, and there are a lot of different versions. So this is a fairly high dollar pen, and the prices are all over the place, especially for a vintage one. Okay, so here I have it mixed in with a whole bunch of other pens just to give you some idea of sizes and things like that. So down here we have the Sailor Pro Gear. This is the full-size Pro Gear. This is a franklin-christoph Model 55. This is a TWSBI Eco. Then we have the Platinum 3776, the Conid Minimalistica, which is a great pen too. Hard to get a hold of right now. The TWSBI 580. This is, of course, the 146 that we've been looking at today. This is the Pilot 823, which is their big vacuum-filled guy. This is the Pelican M1000, another large pen. This is the Pilot Justice, which is larger than you think it is. And then there's the Pelican 800 and the Aurora Optima. And these are, a couple of these are kind of in the same sort of price range, but this one's still probably bringing up the top of the chart there. So how does it fit in? I think it fits in really well. I mean, it's the same size as a lot of other pens that are very popular, like the Minimalistica and these TWSBIs and that sort of thing. It's not particularly any longer than the 3776 when you get right down to it, or the 800. Let's take off some caps and see how it compares without the cap on. Okay, there we go. Now we have quite the sine wave going on here, right? So down here, of course, the smallest one is going to be this Sailor. The Pro Gear is a fairly small pen, and then you have right here in the middle of our situation the 146. So it's around the same size as like a Minimalistica or a TWSBI Eco or the 800. It's all very much of a size, even with the Optima. So a very comfortable size and length to write with, I think. And I tell you what, if my friend's aim was to make me say, yeah, no, I totally get why people like Montblanc, well, then they have succeeded. Did I put this on the wrong pen? Let me see. Where's the other one? No, I did it right. All right. Then that has succeeded because I get why people like this Montblanc. It really has like a quality to it that feels really good in the hand. It's got the right weight and balance. It feels solid. It's a little bit funny that people make fun of the precious resin claim when really it's a kind of plastic, but like whatever, that plastic feels good. And the combination of that with the piston and all the other internals there really does make for a solid pen to write with for quite a long time, I think, and clearly they last. Now, the other thing that people say about these is like, it's just a boring black pen. I like a black pen sometimes, and I think this is a very stately, kind of classy looking black pen. So should you get a Montblanc 146, if you can find one at a good price and you like the way it feels in your hand and all that, yeah, Totally. These are really great pens. It's the right size, I think, for extended use and for carrying around and for having on your desk and all that jazz. So if you get a chance to go to a pen show and we start having those again, check out some Montblanc 146s because it's a joy to write with, quite frankly. And I am surprised that I'm telling you that, but I really do like this pen. All right, so that's it. I will see y'all later on. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.